Ekiti State High Court, Ekiti Division, has sentenced two teachers, Gbenga, Ajibola, 43, and Ayodele Olaofe, 52, to a combined 44 years imprisonment for rape of minors and abuse of office. The defendants were arraigned on March 2nd, 2022 on 3 counts of rape and abuse of office. The court found them guilty of raping a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old student respectively in November of 2019 and of abusing their positions as public servants. Testimony from one of the victims, a student of Ajibola, stated how she was lured to a hotel with promises of money and met with both defendants. The victims were later taken to separate rooms where the assault occurred. Justice Adeniyi Familoni, in his ruling, condemned the defendants' actions, stating the defendants said their minds and mulled the voice of the conscience as they took advantage of the victims with reckless abandon. He emphasized the need for severe sanctions to deter similar crimes. Ajibola was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment for rape, and Olaofe was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment for rape. Both defendants received 2 years imprisonment for abuse of office. The sentences are to run concurrently. What are your thoughts on this report?
To me, currently, the world is something else. So I'll always say parents are the people to look up to. Why I sound like this is because if the parents are doing well with their children, I'll always stand on the ground that children will not be hungry for money to go and meet somebody because of money. Because if you're not doing well with your kids, if you make your kids from childhood learn how to stay without anything, they have to fend for themselves, especially for the girl child, you find out that at the end of the day, it will boil down to them looking for money for themselves.
All right. Now, your grievance is with the girls, not with the teachers.
No, it is on the both side.
Okay.
You understand? When it comes to the teachers, I don't see the right for a man that is supposed to be a lecturer to a little girl start having wrong thought on the girl. For me, the 20 years is even small.
Right. Now, I'm going to go into that, but before we, proceed into if 20 years is fair enough judgment, let's take a backtrack. I wanted to, give you a little insight as regards. These girls did not necessarily come with the idea that they were going to be assaulted. They came with the idea that your teacher said, come and wait for me or come and look for me in ABCD place. Now, do you think that there was a way their parents, if they were open with you, talked about parenting, do you think that if they were closer to their parents in that regard, their parents might have known, or they would have been able to say, okay, I'm going to so place to see this teacher and all of that, and that would have created a little bit of deterrence them turning up in that hotel?
Yes. Come to think about it, once you find out it's an hotel, they are 15. I will put it to you that there is no young teenager of this time of this world that don't know where an hotel is. Once it gets to an hotel out of classroom, you don't push it. You just have, once you get to the hotel, just go back home and meet your parents. Go back to your parents and tell them this is what this man is doing and this. Because if you can't approach it that way, you find out that when you're reading it, it was like something, you come for money, you come, I'll give you money. Once a young girl hear money and she see what her peers are doing and she cannot do it, she'll be hungry to get that money. But if her parents is doing everything for her, I'll put it to you that money will not be one of the issue. The hotel itself alone, it's a bad.
But given the cost of living, given the hardship in families, you'd agree with me that in recent times, the cost of living has become rather high for many families. And parents strive to try to make sure that basic provisions are made for their children as regards, food to eat, clothes to wear. And sometimes some parents are even unable, given the 70,000 naira minimum wage, to meet up. Do you think now this also adds pressure to the peer pressure that teenage girls face in the society currently?
Yes, it's true. It's true. When it gets to that, you weigh the options on both sides.
Okay.
But I'll always stand on charity begins at home.
Okay.
Why I say charity begins at home? from your tender age, your parents start breeding you to know what is right and what is wrong.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Once your parents start breeding you to know what is right and what is wrong, you find out that little things like this money thing, you will know when your father don't have, and you will not go and beg. If your father is somebody that goes out and asks for people, take you with him and ask for people for money, you find out that when you grow up, you start having that mentality that my daddy used to ask for somebody, why can't I ask? But presently, when you have a parent that your parent don't ask, they always make sure the small one they have, you are okay with it. There's no reason for somebody to be going out to look for money, for a child of that age to start looking for money. Life is hard everywhere, but it all depends on how you can manage it.
Thank you so much. Now, let's go towards the direction of respect and abuse of power. Now, a teacher is supposed to be a symbol of a learning process for a child or student, wherever you find yourself, whatever stage you are. Right. It's a teacher is seen as a mentor that is supposed to mentor you towards being a better person than you were when they met you. They're there to tutor you, they're there to mentor you. Now, let's talk about the abuse of power as regards these teachers using their authority of office and bringing these children. We're talking about 45-year-old men calling 15-year-old children and, having a sexual assault on them just because of their personal satisfaction.
Well, you see this world there. Presently, these teachers I feel they are being carried away. Majority of the time, we talk about the rate of payment and salary and everything. If you weigh most options, majority of these people are not even married. Why are they not married? There's no money to get married. You understand? When there's no money for them to get married, what they think, they believe everything that comes around them, they can take advantage of. Which is a no-no. Especially when you're a lecturer or a teacher. You find out that doing that, if you get to some people, you lose extraordinary respect. Because nobody reasons you again. Once you call them, they tell you that I don't want to do this. Or once you've had something with them, you lose respect as a man. You lose respect as the teacher they look up to you for. In that school, you're supposed to be their father. But at the end of the day, once you've done that, you're equal with them. You're equal with them.
That is rather sad. You rightly mentioned that 20 years is not enough jail time. Now, in recent times, the case of rape has grown over the roof. It's become a topic for every other day. You go through the bulletins, you go through the reports. You're sitting down in the ambience of your home and you're turning on your phone or watching the television, and there is one rape case or the other. Why do you think this has gotten on the rise? Why do you think it's so high now?
To me, I would say, if you reason with me, I would say, one, back in the days, it was not really like this. Why? Because they had places where if you're a matured man, you want to have something like that, you just get small money, you go there and do what you want to do. You pay your way and you go. But today, there's no money for anybody to even do it. So the people now look at it as something that is right to them. That's why I said 20 years is small. If they are 40, you're giving them 50 years. By the time you're coming out from that place at 90, only your spirit will tell you you've committed sin.
Right. So you think the jail, how many years of jail time? Do you think that 20 years or 50 years is enough for the moral trauma, the psychological trauma that these girls would have faced during the time of rape, during the long-term effect this act would have had on them as they are growing up into women? Do you think 50 years is even enough time to make the punishment worthy and act as a deter to other people that want to go into raping young girls like this?
Okay. To the girls, it's going to be hard to pick up your pieces, especially coming with the aspect of rape. Your head will never be okay. It takes the grace of God for you to pick your pieces.
Right.
For the person in charge of the rape, the guy in charge of the rape, 100 years is even small. Why I say it's small? Because the person has to face that pain he has done to somebody for the rest of his life.
All right.
So that tomorrow, if you come out like after 50 years, for example, they're giving you 50 years, you're 40. When you're coming out today, when you come out after 50 years, you're 90 years. You have story to tell another person.
Or you think that's going to act as a form of detail for
Yes,
other people from
to
growing?
learn.
Do you think that our short justice period, as regards when a case is reported, a guest of mine will always say the hand of justice grinds slowly. Do you think that that has equally, because we have lots of laws as regards things like this. We have the Violence Against People's Prohibition Act, the VAP Act, we have the Child Rights Act, we have all the ministries, Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, and all of these bodies coming together to say, okay, this is an umbrella for protection for, you know, women, men, children, and minors that, you know, get assaulted like this. Do you think that if they do enough amplification, these things are screamed enough, they do enough, you know, information sharing where people are well aware of this sort of things, and their consequences to act as a deter for other people? Because if a case moves slowly, right, now we hear that, for example, let's say, oh, there was a rape case last week. You don't get to hear about that rape case sometimes till the end of maybe 2026. Maybe that's when this case happened in 2019. You see how progressively, from 2019, this is 2025. It's a long time. Do you think that the no information and how slowly the justice system grinds also amplifies it in a way that people do this and just feel like, okay, since I didn't hear about the consequence for the other person, it's okay for me to go into this?
Yes, it does. Because our justice system is something else. See the years and look at the time. If the man is somebody that has one disease or sickness, he would have been dead by now. Where's the justice? There's no justice. Because our court has their own issues. They are the people keeping most of these things the way we're seeing it today. Why I sound like this is because how will a case like this come up this year, and we're talking about 10 years from now for somebody to get justice? You're trying to make the people believe that it's not really important. Anybody can do this and go through it. After 10 years, if we cannot, we settle out of court. Majority of them are settling out of court. Majority of rape cases presently, you can't, let me just give you some money. It ends there. Somebody that has money will do this crime. When it gets to the public, he will call the family inside. Like you said, people are hungry. He will call the family inside, call the parents inside. Take this 1 million, you guys should relax. You'll find out that everybody will calm down because they're hungry. They're hungry. So when it comes to that level, you find out that our justice system, for real, is not really helping us.
Sadly so.